Happy Thursday, Fairview. Thanks again for joining us. This is going to continue our study through the Psalms, and this will be in Psalm 49. Before we jump into it, I'd just like to give a little overview of the Psalm here. And it deals directly with how to live in the light of an inevitable death. It actually kind of mirrors Ecclesiastes in that way. And there are three main sections, where the first part is going to be a call to listen to this teaching we find in the Psalm. The middle section is going to be a warning that wealth cannot redeem us, again, similar to what we see in Ecclesiastes. And then the very end is going to be a promise that God not only can, but will redeem his people. So let's read it together. This is Psalm 49. Hear this, all peoples. Give ear, all inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak wisdom, the meditation of my heart shall be understanding. I will incline my ear to a proverb. I will solve my riddle to the music of the lyre. Why should I fear in times of trouble, when the iniquity of those who cheat me surrounds me, those who trust in their wealth and boast of the abundance of their riches? Truly no man can ransom another, or give to God the price of his life. For the ransom of their life is costly and can never suffice, that he should live on forever and never see the pit. For he sees that even the wise die, the fool and the stupid alike must perish, and leave their wealth to others. Their graves are their homes forever, their dwelling places to all generations. Though they called lands by their own names, man in his pomp will not remain. He is like the beasts that perish. This is the path of those who have foolish confidence. Yet after them people approve of their boasts. Like sheep they are appointed for Sheol. Death shall be their shepherd, and the upright shall rule over them in the morning. Their form shall be consumed in Sheol, with no place to dwell. But God will ransom my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me. Be not afraid when a man becomes rich, when the glory of his house increases. For when he dies he will carry nothing away. His glory will not go down after him. For though, while he lives, he counts himself blessed, and though you get praise when you do well for yourself, his soul will go to the generation of his fathers, who will never again see light. Man in his pomp, yet without understanding, is like the beasts that perish. So, verse 1, we see David write, Hear this, all peoples. Oh, I'm sorry, the sons of Korah, not David. I'm used to that in the Psalms. But again, hear this, all peoples. And this just shows that this psalm is instructional and informational, not just for this particular people, but they're saying this to all the inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together, that what's being said in this psalm is just a very human in nature, that we all struggle with this thing of trying to abide in our own wealth or what we've accomplished, but we're reminded time and time again that only God can redeem, and that this life truly is temporary. And as we see here, verse 19, this is kind of where I'd like our focus to be. And it says, But God will ransom my soul from the power of Sheol, for he will receive me. And this verse, it's very succinct, but it's very powerful. And it has two of the coolest words in the Bible, being but God. And most times that this appears, it just shows how gracious of a creator we have, that the writers of Scripture have us dead to rights in a condemnation of how we act, whether we think we do it or not. And we read through and you feel this conviction weighing on you, and then it all turns with but God. And here's in particular, but God will ransom my soul from the power of Sheol. And depending on your translation, it may say grave. It's just an untranslated Hebrew word. Just the place of the dead, where the dead souls go. But what we're confiding in is that our earthly greatness is all in the face of this inevitable death that we see day in and day out, whether it be the flowers wilting or the unfortunate passing of friends and loved ones or animals, that God will ransom the souls of his people from their lowly estate. And the very end of this verse wraps it up and just shows the goodness of the character of God when it says the reason that he's doing this, for he will receive me. And Fairview family, I'd like us to remember that this week, that the great God that we serve, that has created all that we see, he will receive his people. It's not just a far off, aloof, overpowering God, but he will deliver, he will ransom your soul, and he will receive you. Blessings on you, and we'll see you next week.